What's up? I am Ara, aka I Eat Zebra, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to introduce you to Marvel's powerful pantheon of protectors, the Eternals, as we prepare for their introduction into the MCU. So let's get to it. First introduced to Marvel Comics in 1976 by the legend Jack Kirby, the Eternals explored the cosmic aspects of the Marvel Universe. The Eternals are a race of godlike beings created by the Celestials, alongside their enemies, the Deviants, as well as humans. Thousands of years ago, 10 Eternals were sent to Earth to protect early human civilization from the monstrous Deviants. However, this was the only opposition they were charged to face, as they are not supposed to interfere in the affairs of humans. Hence their absence during the attack from Thanos, which really doesn't make sense, as I will get into that a bit later. Each Eternal is gifted with a similar skill set, yet they all have their own unique strengths, as well as a collective capacity to create the Unimind. To simplify it, the Unimind would be the Eternals' equivalent to Voltron, or for my fellow Rick and Morty fans, a Gogotron ferret. Anyways, the 10 members of the team are Ajak, Druig, Gilgamesh, Icarus, Kingo, Makari, Phastos, Circe, Sprite, and Thena. If you're not familiar with these characters, but some of the names may sound familiar, that is because the Eternals served as inspiration to folklore and mythical beings throughout history. Without further ado, let's get into the background of these godlike beings. For fans of the comics, you will notice in the upcoming Marvel film, there is a gender swap for the character of Ajax. In the upcoming movie, Ajak is being portrayed by my childhood crush, Salma Hayek. She is capable of performing a character with a commanding presence, so I believe she will do one of the most powerful members of the team justice in her portrayal. Ajak is the only member of the group with the capability to communicate with the Celestials and serves as the more or less head of the team. Similar to all the Eternals, Ajak has superhuman strength and complete control over her body on a molecular level, akin to the Bene Gesserit of Dune, as well as the ability to project cosmic energy from her eyes or hands, teleportation, flight at the speed of sound, and the ability to rearrange the molecular structure of objects, which aids her in healing others. Ajak is also usually the head of the Unimind. Ajak appears as an inspiration to a few different characters of legend. To the Greeks, Ajax with an X, also known as Ajak the Greater, featured in Homer's Iliad as a hero second only to Achilles for bravery and strength during the Trojan War. For the Incans, she was the god Tecumotzin and the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, aiding in the advancement of culture in the Americas. Druig is being played by Barry Keoghan. Druig is notably the most diabolical of the group, with the ability to manipulate reality, control minds, and project energy from his hands or eyes, mostly in the form of flames in the comics. From the trailer footage, we also can see it looks like he is utilizing his mind control abilities and is leading a cult. Druig most likely inspired the Druids, an ancient order of Celts. They served as priests, teachers, and judges for their people and were believed by some to be a cult of sorcerers, with the ability to foresee the future and influencing powerful lords and kings with their prophecies. Gilgamesh, most likely one of the most recognizable names of the Eternals team, is being portrayed by Ma Dong-seok. Equipped with the typical powers of the Eternals, he possesses enhanced speed, strength, stamina, agility, and healing, making him the perfect hero of legend. Gilgamesh, as you can probably guess, inspired the legend of Gilgamesh, one of the first legendary figures in our recorded history, dating back to the days of Babylon and Sumeria. He also inspired the biblical character Samson and the greatest of all the Greek heroes, Heracles, or Hercules, whatever floats your boat. first king of the North in almost 300 years, Richard Madden will be starring as Icarus. Reunited for the first time since they left Winterfell, his brother cousin, the other king in the North, Jon Snow. Oh, sorry again, wrong franchise. I meant Kit Harington. Both joined the cast of the Eternals as two sides of the love triangle between Madden's Icarus and Harington's mere mortal, Dane Whitman, as they compete for fellow Eternal Cersei's affections. Icarus and Cersei have a complicated romance over thousands of years, so their reunion shall be an interesting one to look out for. Icarus is a bit of a hothead of sorts. His ability to manipulate cosmic energy is one of the most powerful amongst the group. He has heightened senses and is the swiftest flyer. He's like the group's very own Homelander, if you will. Another very obvious homage to our legends of myth from the Greeks, the story of Icarus, the son of Daedalus, was a victim of his own hubris and flew too close to the sun, and he died. Hence the idiom, don't fly too close to the sun, which leads me to believe our Icarus's pride may lead to his downfall. The celebrity of the Eternals, Kingo, is being portrayed by Kumail Nanjiani, possessing the Eternals Power Starter Kit. He is usually portrayed as a samurai in the comics. His weapon of choice is usually a sword. Kingo, unlike the other reclusive members of his team, enjoys being in the spotlight and becomes a Bollywood superstar. The Kingo of the comics pays homage to the samurai way of life during feudal-era Japan, whose tales and heroes inspire people all over the world today. As the first deaf actor to star in the MCU, Lauren Ridloff will be starring as Makari. In the comics, Makari is usually a man, but in this iteration will be portrayed by a woman. With the actress being deaf, I would love to see the MCU incorporate that into her character, making Makari the first deaf superhero in the MCU. Makari is a speedster of the group with the ability to run faster than the speed of light. From the trailer footage, it appears she will also be a collector, as we can see a treasure trove of artifacts throughout human history in her possession. Due to her speed, she is confused with the Greek god Hermes, the messenger of the gods, famous for his winged footwear. Due to the Romans being super creative with their pantheon of gods, the equivalent to Hermes is Mercury. Like the pesky planet that decides to retrograde and cause trouble for us, I could see the speedster getting caught up in some precarious situations. The genius of the outfit, Phastos, is the brilliant inventor of the group. He is being played by Brian Tyree Henry. Phastos has aided in the advancement of technology throughout human history, which has its pros and cons. Unfortunately, some of his inventions have caused extremely devastating effects that he still struggles to cope with. Another interesting fact is Phastos is going to be the MCU's first LGBTQIA+ member, which is very, very exciting news in my opinion. But anyways, due to his ability to forge and invent powerful weapons, Phastos inspired the Greek god Hephaestus, the blacksmith of the Olympian gods, and also the husband of the goddess of love, Aphrodite. Cersei serves as the most central character of the upcoming film, as her love triangle with fellow Eternal Icarus and the mortal Dane Whitman will serve as a point of contention for the Eternals to work through. Returning to the MCU, Cersei will be portrayed by Gemma Chan, who starred in Captain Marvel as Kree warrior Minerva. But she was blue, so you probably missed it. Again, with the same skills as the other Eternals, flight, illusions, immortality, teleportation, and cosmetic energy projections, what makes her unique is her skills at matter transmutation, which she utilizes to help grow crops for humanity and heal the sick. In Greek myth, she is similar to her namesake Circe, a sorceress featured in the Odyssey, as well as the goddess Demeter. Demeter, goddess of agriculture, is patronized for successful harvests and also helps to provide sustenance for humanity. Despite the appearance of a child, Sprite is the same age as the other Eternals, however, is forever stuck in the physical state of being a child. Fittingly, young actress Leah McHugh is set to play Sprite in the film. Her ability to project and cast illusions is the strongest of the group, which she uses to cause some mischief. Due to her stature and mischievous ways, Sprite is the inspiration for a lot of folklore around the fairy folk. In the comics, she also serves as the inspiration for Peter Pan, and looking at the costuming and similar nature of both characters, it is very fitting. The final member of the team, the badass warrior Thena, being portrayed by the talented Angelina Jolie. Thena utilizes her ability to manipulate cosmic energy to manifest weapons seemingly out of thin air. One of the best fighters of the Eternals, she is one of the strongest of the team. However, in the comics, she has a soft spot for two different deviants being romantically linked to Crow and Psycho, which we may see one of them in the movie, as a scene with Thena and this deviant from their most recent trailer looks almost like a lover's embrace. Despite her romantic involvement with those deviants, they're not the only ones she has connections to. As in the comics, Thena is actually the first cousin of the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. Their fathers, Zuras and Alars, are brothers. Despite his parents both being Eternals, Thanos was born with a deviant gene, which is why I believe it is weird excuse to not get involved when Thanos arrived, but the film should have chosen a different excuse for them not to get involved, but we'll wait to see how they actually handle this. If it wasn't obvious, Thena is most certainly the inspiration for the goddess of war and strategy herself, Athena, with the city of Athens being named in her honor. Her Roman equivalent is known as Minerva, which is funny because that is the same name of the Kree warrior Gemma Chan played in Captain Marvel. The Eternals will be premiering in theaters and on Disney Plus on November 5th, 2021. I love the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe, and I'm excited to see where the MCU is going forward in Phase 4. I do believe this movie will be setting up a lot of major events in that realm with all the multiverse action going on in other projects. I believe we may have the possibility of being introduced to Atlantis and the character of Namor, who is the MCU equivalent to Aquaman in regards to power-wise, as well as being an Atlantean. But he is also a known adversary to the Wakandans. So hopefully this will give us some inclining towards what to expect for the Black Panther sequel, Wakanda Forever. What upcoming MCU titles do you believe the Eternals will feature in? And which member of the Eternals are you most excited to see on screen? Let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for future uploads. See you next time. Bye!